Smiles Television Talk Show. When you come back. Welcome to Smiles Television Talk Show. Thank you for tuning in again. We're on location and we're in Belleville, Illinois. We try to take smiles all around the country and we may be coming to see you soon. Today, we're talking with Anitris Jones at the Elite Scholar STEAM Academy. You know what? We always want our children to have the best education, and you want to find out what's going on at the Elite Scholar STEAM Academy. Remember, Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. He was crucified and buried, and he rose on the third day. Confess with your mouth that he is Lord. Believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, and thou shalt be saved. Stay tuned for more smiles. I'm sitting here with Anitris Jones, the Elite Scholar STEAM Academy. Anitris, thank you for taking time to chat with us on Smiles TV Talk Show. It is just wonderful being here and seeing your facility. Tell our audience, first of all, a little bit about yourself, and I'd like people to get a feel for whom they're looking at. Where are you from?
I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois. Actually, born and raised here, went through all the schools, John Robinson, Hughes, Quinn, and graduated from Lincoln Senior High School in 1988, the class of 88, which is very esteemed class here in East St. Louis.
You know what, I said I wasn't going to hold it against you that you came out of Lincoln Senior High School. You know, back in the day we had such rivalry going on, and now all the schools are connected together. Yeah. When you left Lincoln Senior High School, what did you do then?
When I left Lincoln, I went to the University of Arkansas in Pine Bluff. Stayed there for 3 years actually as a nursing major. Mm-hmm. So I was actually into nursing. Came back home one summer, took a couple of educational courses at Harris Stowe State University now, and fell in love with education. So I graduated from there within a year and a half, and I've been on that path for education ever since.
So, okay, you graduated from Harris Stowe with an education degree, mm-hmm. and you came back and you said, our kids need some additional types of education. How did the concept of Elite Scholars come to be?
I actually worked in the public school system for many years. I've worked in every capacity. I started out as an elementary teacher, a reading recovery teacher, assistant principal, and even a curriculum instruction coordinator for a district. And throughout my tenure in those districts, I realized a lot of our kids were really smart, but falling through the cracks or not being challenged, being held back to a lesser standard because they're trying to make sure, the schools were trying to make sure that the kids were able to test and be able to pass those, instead of looking at the kids individually and challenging them through that perspective. So that's how Elite Scholars came about, because we formed a school that basically teaches kids on an individual level at a much higher standard.
I was going to ask you, how many students are here in total?
In total, we have 35 students.
35 students, and roughly how many kids are in each classroom?
In each class, we have an average of 10.
Wow, you know, I remember I went to Bradley University, and their motto was where individual attention makes the difference, and it really did. So how does that individual attention seem to impact the relationship between the students and their instructor?
We actually have a very innovative approach to the way that we teach children. We have kids that come from a wealth of backgrounds, so we don't just accept the brightest of the bunch. So some of our kids have come to us 1 or 2 grade levels below, and because we're small, we're able to push those kids and get them at grade level and above by the end of the school year. So our students and teachers have kind of a personal relationship with one another where they don't see themselves as that's my teacher. It's more family oriented. Our children support one another. If another student is struggling in the classroom, they don't just have to depend on the teacher to help them, because their classmates will be the first to offer assistance. So we have a family oriented style of teaching our children.
We're going to take about a minute break or so, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what that STEAM Academy looks like and what your curriculum actually looks like. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Elite Scholar STEAM Academy. Anitra Jones is sitting here and she has some great valuable information for you. Listen to Anitra. You know what, just looking around the facility is great and it's very conducive to learning. But tell our audience, what does STEAM Academy mean? Why is it called a STEAM Academy?
We're Elite STEAM Scholars STEAM Academy, and the STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. And we also added agriculture to the arts part of it because we focus primarily on making sure kids have a strong foundation in science and math. The United States is very low. We're falling as far as being compared to other countries in those areas. So here, our children are challenged through a variety of ways. They are every day introduced to something in science. They do engineering activities. Our kids are exposed to computer coding, building of robots, and a variety of things. So with our STEAM curriculum, it allows us to be more creative and innovative in our approach to teaching. So not only do they get the differentiation that they need in instruction for reading, writing, and math, they get a broad spectrum of what it is we do in the other areas of science and technology. So they're introduced to careers. Within that, we do some broadcasting things. We do photography. A couple of weeks ago, they did a unit on mixology where they were actually recording music, the beats that go along with music. So they're introduced to a wealth of things.
If you had to put it in a nutshell in terms of why a parent should choose your academy over the other thousands that are out there, what would you say?
I would say you should choose our school if your child is a thinker and if they will enjoy hands-on activities and taking ownership of their own learning. We force our children to be thinkers. They have to think outside of the box. We allow them to take advantage of their own learning. So they're given projects or tasks that they'll have to come up with strategies or ways to solve that problem and task. For example, some of our children were reading the book Shiloh. So at the end of the story, instead of doing a book report or write about it, they had to come up with a 3D project to show how they would solve one of Shiloh's problems in the story. They do an ecosystem. They built an actual ecosystem here in the school and watched it grow, and then they had to create a module to show different forms of the ecosystem and how you would survive in that particular ecosystem.
Wow, that's excellent. What about socialization? Because it sounds like you do an excellent job academically, but all of our students need to adjust socially in various ways. What do you do to help impact their socialization in a positive way?
I think our kids are actually too social. They are not afraid to express themselves in any manner. So we do a lot of reading, writing. Some of our older students have blog pages where they actually write about different topics that are occurring in the news, and they give their response to it and what they think about it. They really have a great relationship with one another, not only with the teachers, but also with themselves. You'll hear them talking about things that are going on in the classroom, things that are going on in the community, each of them having their own opinion about it, and not afraid to express that. So because we're a small environment, they are allowed to be themselves. We don't try to keep kids contained in a box or form to the way we think they should be. So each of their little personalities come out. So as you walk through our school or you talk with our students, you'll see that they're just kids and they love being themselves.
How long has your school been in existence?
We've been here, we started in 2013, so this will going into our third year.
Have you had a chance to see how some of the students do in other schools once they leave here?
All of our kids pretty much have stayed with us, but those that did leave, I get that either their parents were in the military or something. I always get that they hate to leave us because of the family atmosphere we build, not only for the students, but for our parents as well. We treat them as family. So you always see people talking and laughing with one another. It's not so formal. Our families get together on the weekend. I'm the principal, but I will have children at my house. They'll come because my daughter attends. She'll go with other families. So a lot of them express that they will miss that part of our school because you can't get that anywhere else.
So coming from a relatively small school environment, do you think, or how can they adjust once they leave here to, say, they go off into a public school? What do you think will be some of the challenges that they will face, or will there be any?
They won't face any challenges. The only challenge that they might have is because we allow kids to express themselves, and once you're in a traditional public school, you're not given that opportunity to speak freely within a classroom. So a lot of them probably will have issues with that. But academically, they will probably be performing 1 or 2 grade levels ahead of their peers. I have had some parents call me actually recently and say that their kid was in 2nd grade and the curriculum that they're doing, they were exposed to those concepts in 1st grade with me. So it's a challenge for them, I believe, because their kids won't be given that rigorous curriculum that we give.
So if parents or students even are interested in making contact with you and coming to Elite Scholars STEAM Academy, how can they do that? If you will, just talk to the audience and tell them how to make contact with you.
If you're interested in enrolling your child or learning more about Elite Scholars STEAM Academy, you can reach us at www.ess.academy or call us at 618-726-2022. You can always go online, you can schedule a tour right online on our website, and you can get more information about us there as well.
Okay, we're going to bring you back on, but I want to talk with your parent coordinator and get a feel for how the parents deal with you and the students and how things go. All right, is there anything else that you would like to share before the next segment?
The only thing I would like to share is for families to make sure that when choosing a private school, you look at your child, their personality, how they learn, the style that they have for learning, if they're visual or auditory, if they're shy, if they're outgoing, and that you choose a private school that will match your child's personality and give them the best education. A lot of parents will select schools because they've been in existence here for a really long time and not really knowing and understanding that that isn't a fit for their child. So when choosing, come and look at Elite. We're not a fit for everyone, but we're a fit for that child that enjoys learning hands-on, wants to be taught at a higher level, or a kid that may be struggling in school and you want them to have a smaller environment that will challenge them and get them on grade level and encourage them to do their best. Then Elite is for you.
Thank you, Anitra. And stay tuned. We're going to bring on Malvina Epps, who's the parent coordinator at Elite Scholars STEAM Academy. Welcome back to Smiles. I'm sitting here at Elite Scholars STEAM Academy, and I'm talking with a parent, Amanda, and our parent-teacher coordinator, Malvina. Amanda, let's start with you because I know Malvina is just simply going to tell all wonderful things about the Academy, but you're a parent. You have students here. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Okay, well, we just started here a little over a month ago, actually. My kids, we moved here in the summer. My husband's in the military, and we moved from Rhode Island out here, and we did a big school search and found what we thought were great local public schools. They were not a good fit at all. So it wasn't long before I started looking into alternatives. My oldest child has autism. She has Asperger's, and so it's hard to find a good fit for her. But the more I looked around, I, thank goodness, happened upon this school and saw that it was a STEAM school, and I loved the idea that it, had science and technology and engineering and math, but that it also had the art piece. That was a big deal to me. And my boys were in elementary school, and they were struggling because they were the funding's so bad, they weren't getting PE and music and art, and they were just doing worksheets all day. They were miserable, and they were being taught basically to the lowest common denominator. They weren't getting pushed at all because the teachers didn't have the time and the schools didn't have the money. So when I saw this school, I came and checked it out, and I was sold right away. And it's been fabulous. My kids are so much happier.
And what ages are your students?
So I have a boy in 1st grade, a boy in 4th grade, and a girl in 6th grade.
Okay, and what do they come home saying as a result of being here all day long? Do they come home saying, Mom, the classrooms are so small and we love it? Or just give us some real information?
Well, the best is every time I pick my 1st grader up, and he was the one who was most miserable at the public schools, just hated it. Every day from the very first day, when I pick him up, he says, Mom, it was awesome! First thing out of his mouth every single time I've picked him up, without fail, every time. They love the small classes. They love that they're getting taught things that are new and interesting and not just rehashing stuff that, other kids might need to learn, but they might already know. They love that the day gets mixed up with activities like dance and, keyboarding and all these other fun things. The hands-on learning, the projects. My middle son is just in love with a diagram or a big diorama he just made for science, and he wasn't getting to do that at his old school. And he got home and it was the first thing he wanted to do every day was get to work on that. They love the small group. My oldest feels much less overwhelmed. Now she feels like she's not just one of a crowd. She's someone with a name, and she can get to know the kids around her because it's such a nice, small, close-knit group.
You just did a commercial. Very good. Yeah, Melvina Elson. We go way back, and I want to thank you for taking time to talk with us. Tell us about your role and what you do here.
I am, as Stephanie stated, Melvina Epps. I'm the PTO coordinator or parent of the Parent Teachers Association, and basically my role here is to continue the communication between the parents and the teachers so our children are able to get the best quality education possible. And it's been great. I don't have a problem with any of the teachers or the parents, and the children seem to adapt well all over. It's just important that parents understand that relationship with one another because our children come to school to learn, to be safe. And when we were growing up, we had teachers that really cared and took that time out to teach. And so when we went home, we knew, you didn't go home, and some kids today, you hear, what did you learn today? Oh, nothing. What did you do today? Oh, nothing. At Elite Scholars, there's not one day that goes by I can't say these children don't learn something. And I'm getting educated as well, because I know the first time I took a tour of the school, Nietzsche's school, Hosea, which is my son, he attends 6th grade here. And she showed us how to make ice cream. It was supposed to be in his lesson, but I took note. Because back in the olden days, as they say, they made ice cream by hand in the bucket and the ice and the salt and all of that. So it was amazing to see that these children were being taught how to make ice cream in a Ziploc bag with sugar, cream, and ice.
Wow.
And salt. Mm-hmm. And they just shook it up and everything. And I said, okay, this is the school for him. This is a school that challenges them to think outside of the box. So therefore, as the parent-teacher coordinator, I challenge my parents to get involved with their children and the school on a daily basis. Because without them, our children won't excel. Mm-hmm. And they have to have that relationship with that teacher, because it's, not to downplay the education of public schools. However, it's overcrowded. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times the parents, instead of getting involved with with their child's education and talking to the teacher, they get upset and overwhelmed, and then come in being angry at the teacher because they feel their child isn't getting that quality education. But you can't fault the teacher, because you have to play a major role in that. So again, that's my role.
You know what? I forgot you had your own talk show already.
I'm sorry.
And no, that's fine. That's fine. As a matter of fact, you can tell people, if you want, how they can hear you.
It's called Think About It, which is a show that airs on Sundays from 4 to 5. on, again, mytalknation.com, as well as on Tuesdays, I have a relationship show called Relationship Tuesday, and the title itself is called Oh No He Didn't. However, I'm changing that.
You know what? It's always a joy talking with you. And I'm going to say in one word, both of you, if you had to sum up the experience that your children, the parents, or everybody can have here at Elite Scholar STEAM Academy, what would that one word, Melvina, one word, what would that one word be?
I'd say inclusion. I feel like my kids are really included in the process, and I am as well. I feel like I can reach the teachers anytime I need to. I hear back from them immediately. I know how my kids are doing before they even get home from school because of the great communication, and they feel included, and they feel like they're now a part of a family and a team. So I'd say inclusion. Inclusion,
that's an excellent word. Melvina, do you have one word? One word.
I was blessed. Blessed, and 3 times, but blessed, one word.
Very good. I want to thank both of you for taking time to talk with us about your experiences and the experiences of your children and you as the parent organizer. They chose to be here at Elite Scholar STEAM Academy.
You have heard what others have had to say about Elite Scholar STEAM Academy, and if you think that your child will benefit from an education that we offer, please give us a call at 618-726-2022 or check out our website at www.essacademy. If you are interested in our school and would like to enroll your child, we have scholarships that are available, and you can call us now at the numbers that I just gave you and check out our website to schedule a tour and come and enroll your child for January, and a portion of your tuition will be paid from a donor that is helping 40 families enroll into our school. So if you are interested, don't wait. Give us a call now.
This is Nicole Pleggy, Communications Specialist with Touchette Regional Hospital in Centerville, Illinois. Today, Smiles TV will spotlight our spiritual care department. During your stay at Touchette, our spiritual care team wants to help you draw on your spiritual resources for strength and healing. We thank Smiles TV for giving us this opportunity.
This is Touchette Regional Hospital's Healthy Smiles. Welcome to another segment. Today I have the privilege of sitting with a minister who handles all of the pastoral needs of the hospital. She's going to share with you some interesting information that really will help you. Thank you, Minister McIntyre,
nice
for joining us for this segment of Touchette Regional's Healthy Smiles.
Yes.
You know what? It's first of all, it's a pleasure to meet you, and you have such a warm, inviting personality.
Thank you.
You know, and our audience needs to know that. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
My name is Annette McIntyre. I'm a licensed ordained minister. I worship at St. Paul Baptist Church where Gary Gasson is my pastor. And I've been here at Touchette Regional Hospital working in the capacity of Director of Pastoral Services since the year 2000. And it's just been a pleasure to be here and to work with families in their time of need. And that's the most time, those are times of crises.
Okay, and you just mentioned something that most of the time of crises, but tell us what services you offer, and do you receive a lot of individuals who come in for those services?
Yes, we do. You know, when you come to the hospital, you often think about just medical services, but we also know there's a need for the holistic portion of man, and that's that spiritual side and that emotional side. And my role in the hospital, that any patient coming to the hospital, unless they decline, they get a pastoral visit. And at that time, we offer them prayer. We offer them books of encouragement. We give them a Bible if that's what they want. And not only do we work with the patient, but we also work with the families. Sometimes the patient get that diagnosis and the patient's doing fine, but the family just cannot digest what they just heard. So we not only support the patient, but we also give support to the family. And then we have that time that sometimes is inevitable, and that is that thing called death. And my role is to be with that family. So usually when you hear that cold blue or you hear that over the head call, most times it's usually possibly death. And what I do is go into the emergency room and be there when the doctor even shares the news. And there I comfort the family, so, you know, provide them support. And sometimes there have been incidents that end up doing the eulogy. It's not part of the plan, but we don't just leave a family hanging. You know, if they need to call us, they call us. We follow up with families. And so, you know, our role is kind of like something you can't put a finger on,
Right.
but it's something that's very important to a patient or family during the time of sickness or in need and crisis at a point of death.
You know, my dad was a pastor of a church in Brooklyn, Illinois, and he actually passed back in '96.
Wow.
But he did some of the same services, and prior to his passing, we had an opportunity to go around his bed individually and be with him. But he was the pastor, and he was passing, so we were there, and God allowed us to minister to him during that time. When that time comes, and we all know that, you know,
Right.
death is going to happen to
Very
each
much
one
part
of
of
us.
life. Yeah.
How do people respond? Let's say that they're not necessarily Christian or they don't believe. How do you help those individuals?
You know, the most important thing in life, besides the presence of God, is the presence of another person. Just as someone who say that I'm here with you. It's not so much what I can say. And at that time, it's not very much I can do. But just that warm touch of another person, just to hold your hand or to say, I'm here with you. And even though my personal belief is God being there, but that's not everybody's belief. So I've learned over the years, you respect people where they are, but you can always still be there with them where they are. And so my role here is not just dealing with Christians or people of like faith, but just anybody who just need another person to be there for them and with them.
Is there a telephone number or contact information that you can share for those individuals who may want to make contact with you?
Yeah, and I'm also always looking for volunteer chaplains. So, but yeah, I can be reached at 332-5289, A. McIntyre, MCINTYRE, toucheregional.org. It's my email. And yes.
Okay. And you know what? A lot of times, and then I ask people for phone numbers and contact information, and our audience is not quite ready. So I'm giving you the opportunity now to go and pick up pen and paper so you can write this information down. And like she said, it doesn't matter your faith. She's one who can help you in a variety of ways. So once again, and do this for me this time, look into that camera and just tell them your phone number and contact information.
My name is Annette McIntyre. I'm here at Touchette Regional Hospital. I can be reached at 332-5289 or A. McIntyre, MCINTYRE at touchette.org.
Thank you again for your
You're
time.
welcome.
And I don't know if we touched everything that you wanted to. And if not, can you think of anything that you would like to share at this point?
And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that spiritual services are available here at Touchette. And sometimes we think in smaller hospitals that they don't have things like spiritual services, so we don't always tap into things that are available to us. But yes, we're here and we're willing to talk to anyone who needs a kind word or just some comfort.
Well, Minister McIntyre, thank you
You're
for
welcome.
coming to Smiles, Healthy Smiles, sponsored by Touchette Regional Hospital. If you get the opportunity, will you come back?
I will definitely will.
She says she will. She's a pastor. We believe her, right? We thank all of our guests at the Elite Scholar STEAM Academy, and we thank you for staying with us during the duration of this broadcast. The Elite Scholar STEAM Academy, a great place to enroll your child. Remember, only what you do for Christ will last.